Hi, I'm Jeff Dreher, and I'm here to talk to you about hospitals and emergency departments' self-perpetuating crisis, the crisis that has plagued emergency departments and in hospitals for decades, with overcrowding, staff shortages, and low profit margins. I'm an emergency physician and operational expert, and in the next 7 minutes, we are going to explore the problem and discover why these problems have persisted, and how we can solve them. This problem stems from the fact that hospitals have a low operating profit margin of only 2 to 4%. As a result, hospital administrators respond by driving up hospital occupancy rate to 85% or higher by opening and closing beds and adjusting staffing levels. This causes patients to wait for care, which lowers quality. This chaotic environment also decreases efficiency and causes staff burnout. Unsatisfied patients also get sick of waiting and leave without being seen. This results in overcrowding, boarding, and ambulance diversion, and also decreases revenue and increases cost. And there you have it. The cycle repeats itself, forcing administrators to further cut costs. This explains why hospitals have been unable to solve this problem and why it is so chronic. And as a result, hospitals have developed something called institutional inertia. Hospitals cannot get out of this cycle. They do the same things every day and expect different results. After studying this problem for a great deal, our group has found a solution that reverses this inertia. This has been a career-long crisis for many, with many solutions attempted, but none eradicating the problem. To solve problems in this environment, it is extremely important to understand why. Why do hospitals operate this way? To solve this complex problem, we first must understand who is the decision maker of our hospital and how are decisions made. So this is the org chart of the hospital. At the top is the C-suite, and then the middle management, and at the bottom is our frontline staff. At the top is the CEO, who is the chief decision maker. He is extremely financially conscious, concerned mainly about cost and ROI. I never really understood this as a frontline emergency doctor, but later learned that the CEO is financially conscious for good reason. They're very financially conscious because of this, the operating profit margin. So this is the median operating profit margin of all hospitals in 2022 and 2023, and it shows that we have been in the negative and then we became positive, but only -2 to +2%. This is highly variable, and it's also very low and unpredictable. This is enough to make anyone nervous. So this is the latest data, which shows that we have remained in the positive, but still low and lots of variability. The max here is only 4%, which isn't the greatest. So why is profit margin so important? Because this is what we use to educate, to innovate. This is what we use to reward staff. It also has financial stability. Operating profit margin is extremely important. So administrators are not just financially conscious. They're nervous about the finances. And why? Well, good reason. Because reimbursement rules change annually, and CMS has this thing called a RAC audit where they can actually pull back millions of dollars from your institution. And there's always the rising costs of supplies and labor. So how does the C-suite make sure that this hospital that they run is profitable? With all this variability and uncertainty, how do they do it? To ensure profitability, administrators keep an eye on costs, and they also tightly control staffing. Why staffing? Because staffing is the largest expense, accounting for 48 to 56% of all hospitals' total expenses. So to stay profitable, administrators adjust the number of open beds and the number of staff. They try to keep the occupancy rate above 85%. Why? Because that seems to be at that point where they become profitable. So high occupancy rates may optimize their profitability, but it also slows down care and increases inefficiency, which I'll show you next. This is the most important slide of the presentation. The occupancy rate being above 85% causes waiting. The graph on the right is the utilization curve. When you increase utilization or occupancy above 80%, waiting for care and waiting for beds increases exponentially. It just takes off like a rocket. And this is the root causes of our problem. To be profitable, we must run our hospital at high occupancy rate, which then causes waiting. And this backs up the entire hospital, leading to overcrowding, poor quality, staff burnout, and diversion. Also, many of the hospital resources are running at 80% of capacity or greater, causing the entire hospital to be gridlocked and for patient care to back up. This is what it feels like. Too many patients, too little staff, and not enough room. And problem solving becomes like this: whack-a-mole. So I think you can see that the primary root cause of this problem is that we just don't have enough margin, which causes us to run the hospital at a high occupancy rate. So what I'm going to tell you is that we can actually solve this problem and also increase hospital revenue. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. I have good news. All the work we have done has led to a solution that utilizes existing resources and management to improve work efficiency of key resources, leading to improved quality, patient and staff satisfaction, and revenue. It's amazing what happens when you drop length of stay. By improving work efficiency and dropping the ED admission length of stay by 2 hours and the ED discharge length of stay by an hour doesn't sound like much. But when you look at it, dropping the ED admission length of stay by 2 hours for 50 patients is like adding 100 staffed bed hours per day. And dropping the ED discharge length of stay by an hour for 130 patients adds 130 staffed bed hours per day. So this added 280 staff bed hours a day, which is equivalent to adding a fully staffed 12-bed ED pod, complete with doctors, nurses, and techs, into your ED. With that extra capacity, we were able to see the left without being seen. They had 40 a day. We dropped it to 4 a day, which added 9% revenue to the hospital. Not just the ED revenue, it added 9% to the overall hospital revenue. That was amazing. And on top of removing all the headaches, improving the throughput and the revenue, the Press Ganey scores increased by 10 points overall, and likelihood to recommend increased 10 points as well. This is really amazing. I'll be talking more about the solution on the next upcoming videos. Here is my contact information, email and YouTube channel, and my cell number. Please text me if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.